So again, that was a project where you have a digital thing, you have an experience online, the interactivity, and then you have a lovely printed publication that is sort of truly limited edition. There's only one of it in the world, and it's the one that you designed. And that's how it sort of arrived in the post. You get your sticker, and you sort of put the finishing touch to it, and that's that. Right, BRIC countries. So that, yeah, obviously that's an overview of the magazine. We're an international magazine. We're sold, that one issue, the international issue, gets sold in over 93 countries. And we have writers and photographers all over the world. But we sort of felt that we wanted to move the office and really sort of absorb what was going on. In China, in 2009, there was a lot being talked about. They had the Olympics were going to be coming up. There was the Expo and a load of other things. And just the economic climate seemed like everything was changing. So we wanted to be a part of it and sort of see what was happening. And so we set up 2 pop-up offices, one in Shanghai, one in Beijing. And we moved over there, and we didn't quite know what we were going to do, but the premise was that the whole issue would be dedicated to China and Chinese things. So Chinese illustrators, where possible, Chinese photographers, models, food, everything. So I'll just take you through what that issue ended up being. I mean, it was a bit of a risk at the time because it costs a bit to move your whole office for a month, but luckily it sort of worked out. But we produced a number of covers. So this is the one that was produced for Asia, so it has the sort of the Chinese characters. We also did a limited edition architectural cover. One of our offices, the Beijing office, was based at the Linked Hybrid building by Stephen Hall. So we did a limited edition for that. And also we had artist Ai Weiwei create a piece. This was, obviously, he's now got a big exhibition at the Tate Modern, which is over, I don't know, millions of sunflower seeds, all hand-painted, but this is the starting point, I guess. There's a little jar. So it's a big branding exercise. We wanted to create an identity and really make a statement that we were going to China. And so it was wallpaper made in China to really illustrate that we're going to China, we're not going to just make it from London. And we set up an office with Marion Pritchard Design Research on the Bund in Shanghai, and they gave us some space, and we set up our reception, and this is sort of what that looked like. We were there for 2 weeks, and then we moved to Beijing, which is a completely different city, very big statement buildings, and our office there was in the Linked Hybrid building. This is us sort of working away. There's me sort of standing up, trying to do some work. But it was an amazing location and really inspired us. I mean, we weren't really in the office that often because we were out sort of doing stories, doing photo shoots. But it was good to have a base, and using the setups as shoots. So everything in that office was a credit. It was a Chinese manufacturer or someone who was starting to import into China and selling things. So they weren't just pretty pictures. They sort of worked from a commercial point of view as well. And then just moving through, I mean, this is 2009, so a lot of these things, we did a big under construction thing story. This is the Zaha Hadid Guangzhou Opera House, still in construction. Yangshan Deep Water Port, the TV tower, also the Ordus 100, real hugely ambitious project. It's the building on the left-hand side. 100 architects with collaborations with Ai Weiwei and Herzog and de Meuron. I'm not actually sure if it's been finished. I think it was slightly ambitious. But and then also then on the right, we sent Jonathan de Villiers, one of our tried and tested photographers, and he went out to shoot some of the transport links that were being built and some of the crazy feats of engineering that helped make this huge system work. I think this shot, he told us, he scaled down that cliff. His assistant refused to, but it just sort of showed this sort of the extent to which we were going to get our shots, but it's pretty amazing. Then the Shanghai Expo, so everyone's seen that now. It was a big success at the time. We weren't sure. I mean, here's the under construction. It's being built. We mentioned the Heatherwick Pavilion and things like that, but no one's seen anything. It might not work. There was a lot of hope, but at that time we were sort of putting our eggs in the basket, hoping it would work out. And then some of these stories, which you only really get if you go to China, and so you realize while we're on the streets doing research and collecting ephemera and products, all the cigarette vendors with these amazing cigarette packets. I mean, I don't smoke and I never have them, but these were amazing. And just the way, the top ones were sort of, they're about $17, and they're almost gifts for government officials, and especially the Panda brand. Then the ones at the bottom are more sort of ones that cost 60 cents. But they all look amazing, but they have different foil blocking and embossing. Just a little observation that helped give that mix of what China was about and where it is and where it's moving to. We also did a translated section, a sort of roll fold, that, you know, we don't sell as many copies in China as we do in the US or Europe. So in order to introduce the magazine, we also did a translated section that translated the main articles, but also give a brief history of what wallpaper was over the last 10 years. And that was that thing. One of the biggest challenges we had was the fashion shoot. We'd seen the work of Li Wei, did these amazing sort of floating, well, he's an artist, so art, I guess. And we asked him if he'd collaborate and do a fashion shoot. So he said yes, and we did these amazing shots. So he appears in each shot, but he's wearing credits and fashion credits. And so, again, it's a shot, it's a story that doesn't just look nice, it actually works for the magazine and helps keep our advertisers happy or attract new ones, and people can look at the clothing and go, oh, I'd quite like that. Whether they'd like to be shot out of bow and arrow is another thing. But so he did all these amazing things, but the clever thing about it, and the thing that it took 2 weeks for the fashion team, all of this is done in camera. So there were huge cranes that had to be put in place at 4 a.m. and, you know, policemen slightly persuaded to look the other way. And I've got a film that I'll show afterwards that shows a bit of the making of, because I think people always assume it's been done in Photoshop. And I think if it was done in Photoshop, it probably would have taken longer to get it right. And you wouldn't get the same sort of expression and feeling. So our fashion director, Sebastian's on this film, and he talks through it, and it's quite fun. So here we go.
We are in Beijing, and it's very cold, and we are shooting with Li Wei today.
因为我有一天收到他们的那个 email， 然后他告诉我他们发了一些我的照片给我看，他说他们喜欢一些这样的东西，这样的作品，然后他希望能让我再拍一些他们杂志可以用。那我说我就想我应该去做一些更新的一些作品，然后也许他们可以去用到。然后这是一个很现代的这种的地方，北京应该是最现代的一个地方，所以我有一个很现代，然后在当下时代里面的一种人性的一种可能新兴的一种状态。因为我想是一种人类承受的一种感觉，因为它。